And I'm Jan. Together we establish world-class pre-sales in the German-speaking region and turn you into a sales engineering rockstar.
We help you unleash and continuously develop your pre-sale skills for more fun in the role, higher win rates, and of course, delighted customers. And today I am also the delighted one because we have for a long time again a guest on the show. And she's the co-founder and CMO of Demoboost. And maybe you've seen the noise already on LinkedIn. And here she is, Anna Decroix. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Did I say your last name correctly?
Yes, you did.
That's French, isn't it?
It is.
All right, fantastic. So Jan and myself, we have, of course, been observing that Demoboost, aside from other software vendors that have entered the space of, let's broadly call the category demo automation and interactive demos and so on. We can go into the topic in just a second. But obviously there's, in the past, I would say, 4 or 5 years, more activity happening in the space where solutions are being purpose-built for SaaS demos, for pre-sales, for sales engineers, and Demoboost, of course, is one of them. Now, obviously, the name suggests that you specifically look at the topic of demonstrations, of software demonstrations. So let's open it up here and maybe start with a little bit of context. What role does the demo actually play in the bigger context of a sales cycle, in your opinion?
Yeah, actually, we do. I think we have a lag.
I can hear you, so you can continue talking. I can cut it out.
Okay, cool. So at Demoboost, we do want to boost demos, but in fact, we are really concerned by the entire sales process. And so we do believe that a demo is just an asset, but a super powerful one that can really be used throughout the entire sales process. And I think we wrote that in the insight that buyers' desire to see a product doesn't really change from the very beginning of their buying journey to the very advanced stage. And what does change is their ability to digest and absorb the message, the information that we give them. And so with that in mind, we believe that a demo plays a different role at different stages of the sales process. But this is the asset that actually communicates the message in a super convincing way throughout this entire cycle. And so for us, a demo is just a canvas on which the product story is painted. And from that point of view, we believe that this demo creation is just the beginning. From our point of view, it's the demo delivery and distribution that makes the whole difference. And that's why, while we are providing a tool that builds the demo, what we really aspire to do is really ignite the conversation about how this demo should be served to the buyers throughout this entire sales process, but throughout their entire buying journey.
Okay, so do I understand correctly that you say throughout the buying journey, different types of demos require different types of messaging because the demo plays a role actually across the whole sales cycle? And Demoboost here is basically building a way or building, in the end, it's a tool, I suppose, a tool that accelerates accommodating different demo needs across the buying cycle for more efficiency. So I don't spend 10 hours sitting in the basement, putting in fantastic demo data and building everything there, but there's more of an efficiency gain there. So I have more time with the customer. Is that one of the things that you're considering?
Definitely. I think that there are 2 elements to that, right? Because on one hand, from a business point of view, yeah, definitely. You are saving time on building demos. That's for sure. But I think that the bigger benefit of all that is actually the buyer experience. So we believe that the buyer gets what they want when they want it, and it's our job to really understand those different needs and serve the information that they are willing to or they want to get in an easy to digest way at this stage of their understanding of what we are doing. So I think, at the beginning, you're talking to somebody who doesn't really understand every detail of your product, of your category, maybe. So you're using different message, and that doesn't overwhelm the buyer, but it influences them in a very very subtle way. And I think that that is the biggest benefit of using interactive demo.
Yeah, makes sense. So Jan wants to say something, so obviously I'm going to let him.
I'm you are so kind to me. So I'm curious. I worked in the past with a lot of people, and they said, because you just talked about buyer experience and the journey and so on. So these people said, demo early, demo often. So if you look at it at the buyer experience, what would you respond to these people believing demo early, demo often is a helpful activity in the sales process?
So you see, like, I am coming from a marketing background, right? And when we plan our influencing journey, we also are talking about a process, and it's about, building the messaging and building this story. And I believe that there is something that sales, and in a way, like, it's not about sales learning from marketing. I believe that it's actually sales and marketing working jointly on influencing this one person that needs to buy. And yes, there are multiple touch points that are needed to convince to buy anything, right? And in here, we're talking about super complex product. Any software is a super complex and considered purchase decision that involves multiple stakeholders. So there is no way that you're going to sell, a piece of software through a 15 seconds TVC. It just doesn't happen, right? So you have to have those multiple touch points and multiple threads of the story and different angles, because the purchase decision is just so difficult. So you really need a lot of convincing, and convincing doesn't happen with one argument. You have to have your different plots of the story that you're building, so that somebody at the end of the day says, and when I say somebody, it's a multiple persons buying committee. So once again, it becomes a really complex level of messaging that you need to equip your buyer with so that they are confident buying. So yes, I do believe that there are multiple demos that are needed to convince a buyer.
It actually, Jan, your question, but Anna, also your response really reminded me of a conversation we had here on the show a couple of weeks back on what we called there the trust stakeholder grid, where we basically would have on the left-hand side the status of I'm not convinced, and on the right-hand side you would have the status I'm fully convinced, and each row is basically a different stakeholder within the decision-making consortium, so to say. So you have the CTO, the CIO, the CEO, and then maybe the user buyer and so on. And basically everyone requires a different input to move from left to the right. And of course, the demonstration plays a crucial role in carrying different people from I don't trust you, I don't want to buy from you, over to the right-hand side to I trust you, and I'm interested in actually purchasing what you're offering. So I think that really, sorry, it's not a question. I'm just thinking out loud because it really maps nicely.
I'm absolutely signing up to that. It's and we ourselves have been talking about that lately. It is really about mapping out all those stakeholders and all those messages and all those journeys. That becomes a really complex matrix. But you really need to do the job in order to convince your buyer.
Yeah.
And that's why I think like I will just build on this thread, because I think we also had this conversation about what about the interactive demos that are built super quickly. And there is this myth of building interactive demos in 10 minutes. And I think I've been talking about that as well, because I keep saying, if I showed my 7-year-old daughter where to click, she would build a demo in 10 minutes, in few minutes, for sure. That's how intuitive this technology has become. But is that going to be the demo that converts? No, it won't. And while it's tempting to think that, it's interactive demo can be built quickly, I feel like it's misleading, because it is not once again, it's not about building the demo. It's actually about this whole thought process that goes into that makes it convert.
Yeah.
Everything that we just talked about,
Yeah.
that's the secret sauce.
And just to give you some context, so why I raised the question, the people I was talking about, for them it was not about differentiate between where you are and who you're talking to. For them it was demo, and at some point it will convert into something. And there I would say, no way, right? you need to start at the
this has
beginning.
been becoming a bit crazy.
But how you
I've
phrase
heard
it,
from
how you look at it, this is
organizations that have the number of demos defined as a KPI for pre-sales performance output, which in my view is nonsense. Yeah, I would still argue, of course, that's a very idealistic state, but in fact, I think it was Patrick Pissang who said once on the show, the best demo is no demo, because if I don't require a demonstration to actually move from left to right in this grid that I was just talking about, then by all means, let's not do a demo. Let's fill out the security questionnaire. Let's confirm the requirements. Let's provide a reference that is in the same industry with the same use case. And if that's enough to convince individual stakeholders to say, yes, I trust you, yes, I would like to purchase from you, then we obviously don't need a demo. So, yeah. But Anna, I want to pick up on the one point you just raised, because you said basically, let's build a demo that converts, right? And in fact, I think this was something that also our audience is really curious about, because many of our listeners are sales engineers. They work in pre-sales. They do demos on a regular basis, probably multiple times a day sometimes. So the question really is fundamental to our role. How do we build demos that convert, and how do we balance sort of speed versus quality, which I think you already sort of glimpsed towards, how we can be quick but still have an output that is resonating with our buyers.
Yeah, and I think there is this element of educating and providing information. I think something that is really prominent in our thinking is that the buyers, when they are doing their research, and there are all the stats saying that 3/4 of the purchase decision is happening before the buyer meet the salesperson, but this is the time when the buyer is a way more influenceable, because they are doing their research, they are digesting the research, their findings on their own, and they are saying, okay, now I trust this source versus I don't trust that. And once they do this research and they get into the meeting with a vendor, they are way less influenceable, because they have formed their view of the world